Apps can do a lot of cool things. You could order dinner, gamble on your favorite team, and track your health. You could even get a mortgage. One click and you can be approved. I'm not sure by who or what country they're in. You deserve more from the mortgage industry. At AnyMac Home Mortgage, we believe in the need for live human interaction during a very complex process. The kind of service and guidance which an app simply can't provide. Our customers are more than credit scores and income documents. They're individuals and families who live in and strengthen our communities. Their story is our story, and that story begins in a home. Chris Sawyer is an expert on providing superior customer service and in meeting the mortgage needs of current and future homebuyers. With over 18 years of experience in the industry, Chris is able to help customers migrate through the home buying and home financing process by using his wealth of knowledge as a well-qualified mortgage professional. And best of all, Chris is located in Cromwell, Connecticut, where he has helped hundreds of clients in Connecticut, Massachusetts, and Rhode Island make their dreams of homeownership a reality. Visit chrissawyer.any-mac.com. Email him at csawyer@any-mac.com or give him a call, 860-878-8730.
Chris Sawyer, NMLS number 39345, corporate NMLS number 338923. AnyMac Home Mortgage is an equal housing lender. American Neighborhood Mortgage Acceptance Company, LLC. DBA AnyMac Home Mortgage. Lo-Fi Direct. Connecticut First Mortgage Correspondent. License lender. Broker number ML 338923. Massachusetts Mortgage Lender and Mortgage Broker License number MC 338923. Rhode Island License Lender. License number 201128110L. Call for additional details.
Jones on first down, wide open, it's Barkley. And Saquon Barkley will take it into the end zone.
Your best ability is his availability. Saquon Barkley, he's great when he's on the field, but the problem is since 2018, he hasn't been healthy for this team.
Look at this. They lob it to him. He taps it in off the glass. How about that?
Porter Moser, I think right now is the best coach of college basketball, hands down.
Fins 2 for 3. He's done his part.
Pitch is drilled to deep right field toward the pole, and it is gone.
They don't mind not being what they were in the 90s as the best organization in baseball, because the Yankees aren't even close to the best organization in baseball.
You're trying to be the Rays, and the Rays do this for a reason. Like, you're the Yankees.
Welcome to Sports Talk with R&J. I am Steve Risser, along here with Justin D'Onofrio. And last night, the Sixers went up on the Celtics, their nemesis for the last 5 years. They took the lead on the Celtics 3-2 with a huge performance by Joel Embiid with 33 and a great performance by Tyrese Maxey. Jason Tatum had a good game, and Jaylen Brown had 24, but that was not enough, as the Sixers are now up 3-2 on the Boston Celtics in the Eastern Conference playoffs. They're up 3-2, and they got a chance to close out the Celtics Thursday night in Philadelphia. And this was a humongous win for the Philadelphia 76ers, Justin.
Yeah, it absolutely was. Boston just – Tatum got out to a slow start. He started out 0 for 6 and just kind of felt like after that, Celtics didn't really have much of a chance to win that basketball game. And, yeah, I feel like for the Celtics, like, their problem has been because I think, they're the best team, in the NBA. But they've just beaten themselves a lot. Like, I feel like they're making a lot of their own mistakes, and it's kind of cost them so far. And the Sixers, surprising going in there to Game 5 and winning that game pretty decisively was very surprising last night.
And you talked about it. They might be the best team in the league, but they beat themselves the most, and they definitely have in this series. And I think this is on Joel Mazzulla. The fact the team wasn't ready to play Game 1, that's on Joel Mazzulla. The timeout in Game 4, that's on Joel Mazzulla, because they had that game. They had Game 4. They had a 5-point lead with 2 minutes to go. A great team closes that game out. And then last night, they get off to another slow start. I think a lot of this is on the head coach, Joel Mazzulla.
Yeah, absolutely. And correct me if I'm wrong, but he's still on the intern tag, right? Like, they haven't officially.
He's hired. He's hired, and that's a problem. I think that's going to be a problem for them. That's going to be a problem for that team going forward.
Yeah. The Game 4 one, I don't get it. You have 2 timeouts with 15 seconds. Again, your ball gets advanced, you hold for the final shot. I don't get why you don't call a timeout there. It's dumb, and you kind of see the Celtics were kind of panicked and didn't know what to do in those final few seconds. So, yeah, absolutely. There's a lot of Joe Mazzulla. And he's, the youngest coach in the league, and you can clearly see it that he's over his head right now. And it's really going to cost the Celtics. Yeah, it's a team that you mentioned they came out slow yesterday as well. They came out slow Game 1, 2 without Joel Embiid. It's a lot. Yeah, it seems like it's on Joe Mazzulla, and he's he's a little bit over his head right now. You can clearly see it.
Oh, absolutely, absolutely. And now the big question is, what do the Celtics have to do to win the series? They were in. Let's not forget they were in this spot last year. They were down. They lost Game 5 at home. They were down 3-2 to the Bucks in the second round. They came back and won. What do the Celtics have to do to repeat that this year? And I think number one is they got to get more out of White. They got to get more out of Smart, White, and Horford. Those guys had a combined 21 points last night. You can't win that way. You can't win when your role guys are scoring a combined 21 points when you have 4 guys on the Sixers getting double figures. So they need more out of those 3 guys. They need more out of those 3 guys. They also, I think, need more out of Brogdon. He only had 7 points last night. They need more. He's got to be better. And the pretty obvious one, we already talked about it. Mazzulla's got to be better. So those 3 things to me have to happen for the Celtics to come back and win the series.
Yeah, absolutely. Mine kind of started with Mazzulla. That was my first one. Yeah, end of game stuff, getting your team more prepared. Even though the team should come out fired up for a playoff game, some of it I think is on the players, but yes, a lot. Some of it's on Mazzulla, especially the end of game stuff, and just how they're coming out prepared has not been good. That's something they really got to correct now in Game 6. And yeah, my other one was Tatum too. Started out 0 for 6. He was 11 for 27 for the field. I know he ended with 36 and 10, but as I mentioned a few minutes ago, it just felt like for him to get off the slow start and for him to he is one of the best players in the game, but for him to elevate himself to be on that next plateau, I feel like LeBron, KD, the top of the Giannis, they're not Jokic. They're not starting out 0 for 6. They're not.
No.
In a big Game 5 like that. And that's where
keep going.
Yeah, so to me, that's my that's my thing for Tatum. You really want to be a superstar in the sport. You really want to get that next level and be on those, with the top of the guys. You got to have a better start than that. And then for the Celtics too, the way they're defending the pick and roll stuff, they're letting Harden go left every time, and then that's just creating space for Joel Embiid just get open space and just hit that mid range jumper, go in for a floater. The Celtics got to make some changes offensively. They really haven't much this series, and it's time that they make some adjustments in the series.
And you made a great point with Tatum. I know he's played well. He played well last night, but it could have been better if he got off to a quicker start. And if he gets off to a quicker start, the game is close. The game stays close because pretty much all night long, that game was within 15 to 10 points. And a big reason for that was because Tatum did get off to a great start. You made a great point of that. And you made a great point about if he wants to be a Jokic, he wants to be a LeBron, he wants to be a KD, he wants to be a Giannis. He has got to get off to better starts. And that has got to happen. And he did not last night, and that did contribute. I know he had 36. I know he kept the Celtics into the game, but it did contribute to the Celtics losing that game.
Yeah, absolutely. And he's talked about kind of Kobe and the Mamba mentality, and the
Mamba mentality isn't start 0 for 6.
Yeah,
I don't want to criticize him too much because he had a good game last night. But the Mamba mentality does not start 0 for 6 in a playoff game at home when the series is tied 2-2.
Yeah, absolutely. They don't. Yeah, he's still 36 points. So I don't want to absolutely ridicule him, but he was still 11 for 27 for the floor, 3 for 11 from 3. The shooting percentage got to be a little better. And getting off the fast starts, you want to be one of those guys. You want to go win a championship. You got it in a big spot. You're the man of the team. You got to start better you got to start better than 0 for 6. It's just Again, it did cost them, and it just didn't feel like, I know they were kind of in it, but it never kind of felt like they were going to be able to get over that hump in that game.
Absolutely. So now let's go to the team that won the game, and that's the 76ers, and what they have to do to close out the series in Philadelphia on Thursday night. And for me, Embiid, Harden, and Maxey just continue to play the way they've been playing. Continue the way they played in Game 5. Just those 4 guys were all in double figures. If they continue to play the way that they did, there's a very good chance they're going to win the game Thursday night. And just maybe get some more points off their bench. Their bench has struggled. If they get the points off their bench, and those 4 guys, Harden's been great in this series. Harden pretty much saved this team in this series. Harden was great in Game 1. And he was outstanding in Game in Game 4. So if the 4 starters play well, if Maxey, Harden, Harris, and Embiid all play well, and they get some contributions off their bench, I think the Sixers are closing this thing out in Philly on Thursday night.
Yeah, for me, I like the Harden one too, because I feel like with Harden, it's when he's been aggressive. I feel like in Game 2 or 3, he was passing the ball up 5 feet from the hoop. And I feel like when he's doing that, he's not his best. And I feel like the last couple of games, he's been more aggressive. Last time he had 17, but he had 10 assists. And again, when he's driving to the basket and going up for layups, again, you got, Tobias Harris, you got guys that can knock down threes on the kick out. So, yeah, for James Harden, the way he's been playing this series, if he plays well yet again, I think Sixers got a good shot at closing this thing out. And the other one, too, is Tobias Harris for me. I thought last night he played really well. He was 7 for 10 for the floor. He knocked down a lot of shots. And going off with the Harden stuff, he's a guy that, it does always benefits off of the kickouts. And if he continues to knock down shots like he did, Sixers got a good chance to close it out. And yeah, finally, the last point I agree with you is their bench. I know House gave him 10 points last night, but if you can get a little bit more for him, because I expect the Celtics, Brogdon, White, they even tried to get something out of Peyton Pritchard last night. Like, I expect a couple of those guys with the season on the line to knock down some big shots Thursday night. So I think for the Sixers bench as well, they're gonna have to find a little bit more scoring wise. But yeah, right now the way the Sixers are playing, they got a really good chance to close this thing out.
Absolutely. So Game 6 Thursday night should be very interesting to see what happens. But we are going to move on to the other game last night, and the Nuggets beat the Suns 118-102 to go up 3-2 in their series with them. And the big story is how great Jokic has been. Jokic is phenomenal. I could argue right now, Jokic might be the best player in basketball. The way he got a triple-double last night. When his team needed it, he stepped up. He had 53 the other night, and they lost. And that's not his fault why they lost. He had 53, and they lost. So, to me, Jokic might be the best player in the NBA. The Nuggets, they did an outstanding job last night going up 3-2 over the Suns.
Yeah, they absolutely did. Jokic mentioned another triple-double. I think that's already 10 for him in his playoff career. Like, he's been phenomenal. Every night that he's going to get 20, 25 points, easily. That's a given. He was awesome. The Nuggets have played really well at home. It's kind of been on the road. It's kind of been their kryptonite so far in the playoffs. They haven't played great there, but look, they're the 1 seed. They kind of control their own destiny throughout the playoffs. So you technically don't need to win a road game at some point, would help. But and then Bryce Brown, 2 off the bench for 25 points. They don't have a ton of depth either, like the Suns. But a big night for Brown to really give us something off the bench. Was huge. Yeah, and I know because and Michael Porter played really well as well. So, the Nuggets, won big, won by 16 last night. A nice big one now, and hopefully, we'll see if they can kind of go on the road now, close it out in Phoenix.
Since KD was traded, a lot of people were saying that the Suns were the favorites to win the championship. Now they are 1 game from elimination, and the big question is they lost last year in the conference finals to the Mavs, and for them to avoid losing again, what do they have to do? What do the Suns have to do to come back in this series? And I think for me, KD and Booker continue to be great, and that has been they have been great in the games in Phoenix. They haven't been in the games in Denver. They're going to have to be great in Game 6, but also in Game 7 if this team is going to want to come back and win the series. Also, they need to get more of DeAndre Ayton. DeAndre Ayton has not stepped up the way he should. He really has. He's averaged 18 a game. Hasn't scored more than 14 in this series. DeAndre Ayton needs to step up, especially if they have Chris Paul out in Game 7. DeAndre Ayton is absolutely going to have to step up. And also, we've been saying it pretty much all postseason with the Suns. They need to get more out of their bench, and they did in game. They'll give them credit. They did in Game 4. A big reason why they did in Game 4 is because Landry Shamet stepped up in Game 4. But they need to get more out of their bench. Those 3 things need to happen. If even one of those 3 things doesn't happen, the Suns will be going home.
Yeah, I agree with you. My first one too is, you're going to need from Durant, Booker. They're 0-3 when neither scores 30 points so far in the playoffs. You're going to need them to score at least 70, and hopefully somebody else, like an Ayton, could give you another 15, 20. They rely so much on those two that, if those two kind of struggle, they're in a lot of trouble. And especially Durant hasn't really shot well from 3 so far. Last night he was 0-3. I think in game 5 or Game 4 is a bit better, but Duke Durant hasn't been great from behind the 3-point arc. But yeah, those two really got to step up, play well. I think number 2 for the Suns is you got to change Jamal Murray. Jokic is going to get his points, and they don't have so with the Nuggets, don't have a ton of depth either. If you can kind of slow him down just a bit, and again, you don't get a 25-point performance from Bryce Brown. If Porter maybe only gets like 10 to 15, you got a better chance to win that game because I think Phoenix has got to be a little bit better. They got to keep games a little less, they got to keep games, in the low 100s. I feel like to have a better chance with kind of their lack of depth. And then finally, too, is DeAndre Ayton. Yeah, he's not been great. I feel like it was like game 2. There was a possession there where he kind of just quit offensively on the defensive glass there like that. Yeah, they need him to get like 18 and 12. They really need him to play a lot better. Again, it's going to be tough to guard Jokic and not be able to slow him down, but he's got to somehow try to keep up with him scoring wise because Durant and Booker need the help.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. I mean, they can't. The two of them just can't do it all by themselves. Yes. Is some of this on Durant and Booker that they're down 3-2? Absolutely. They're not. Durant has not been. Let's be honest. Durant has not been great in the postseason the last couple of years. Let's be honest. And Booker proved last year why you're going to have trouble winning a championship with him as your best player. But also, other guys around them need to step up. And as we said, DeAndre Ayton and this bench, and that has not happened for most of the series, and that's why they are facing elimination. They are facing elimination tomorrow night.
Yeah, absolutely. They need those. Yeah, those two have kind of struggled a bit. Booker had an awesome game. Game 3 and game 4. He was great at home, but yeah, these superstars the best players of the sport, they go on the road and they kind of take their game to a different level. And
look at what Jokic did in game 4. I know they lost, but look at what Jokic did in game 4.
Yeah, he had 53, and yeah, you can't blame him for that loss. Guys around him didn't step up. So, yeah, for Booker and Durant, they got to be better on the road. But yeah, they want to win. They got to be at their best, especially in Game 6, and I expect they will. But yeah, that bench, I thought maybe Cameron Payne would give him a little bit of a spark, but he was okay last night. But again, he's not much of a scoring threat. He can score, but you really don't see it. And hopefully Landry Shaman gets going like he did at home in game 4 there today for the Suns to have any chance here to hopefully, obviously they got to win game 6 before they can win game 7, but we'll see if the Suns can get it back to Denver for game 7.
Absolutely. And now the question is what do the Nuggets have to do to get to their second conference final in 4 years? And I think the biggest thing is have Porter Jr. and Murray play the way they did last night. If those two could play the way they did, no, that's been big. Not having Murray healthy the last 2 postseasons has really hurt the Nuggets. But if Murray and Porter Jr. can play the way they did play the way they did last night, I think the Nuggets are closing this thing out, and they just got to get more off their bench because Bruce Brown was really good at 25 points off the bench last night. If they can get more off their bench, I think they close it out and they get to the conference finals, and it could very easily be a rematch of 2020 when they played the Lakers.
Yeah, absolutely. They get more off the bench like they did, and they get something from Jamal Murray and Michael Porter like they did last night. Yeah, they're going to be in great shape because we've mentioned Jokic is going to get his points. He's going to score and he's going to be a big part of that of the game. So I believe for the Nuggets, guys around Jokic could step up. They got a really good chance. One for me as well is I think for the Nuggets too. I like how they keep bringing extra defenders at Durant and Booker. And I think that's weared them down a little bit too on that defensive end. They're making them work harder on both ends of the floor, which is huge. Because the Nuggets know that those two can't. They're going to make sure that those two can't absolutely beat them. And I like kind of that strategy. Those two aren't going to beat them. And then my final one is too. For Denver is getting back on defense. They've given up in this series they're giving up 21.5 points per game on fast break points and. They're minus 29 in the first 4 games. Going into last night, they were minus 29 points and minus 29 points and from fast break points. Like they were really struggling in that area. I thought they did a little bit better job of that last night because Phoenix, they want to get out transition and that's when they're at the best. And if they can kind of slow them down, make them play in the half court, it helps out Denver a lot.
Absolutely. So yeah, so Denver pretty much if they just have these 3 guys, if the big three play well and they get stuff if they get points off their bench, I very very easily see them clinching tomorrow night and getting to the conference finals. But we got to talk about the Warriors and Lakers, and the Warriors are 1 game away from elimination as the Lakers lead that series 3 games to 1. Lakers got a humongous win on Monday night. In LA, they won 104-101. And the big question is what do the Lakers have to do to clinch it? And number 1 is pretty obvious. need AD to be good. They need AD to be good. When he's been good in this series, they've won all 3 games. When he hasn't, they lost that game. So if AD has another really good game, I think the Lakers have a very good chance of winning. Number 2, need D'Angelo Russell to be as good as he was in games 1 and 3. And what do they do in games 1 and 3? They won both those games. So if Russell's good, I think they're in good shape. And number 3, need their bench to step up. And what happened in game 4? Lonnie Walker scored 15. You know LeBron is going to be good. He's been averaging 25 in this postseason. He's been consistent all postseason long. The key is Anthony Davis, D'Angelo Russell, and the bench. If those guys are good, I think the Lakers are going to end the Warriors season. I think they're going to end it on their home court.
Yeah, I could totally see it. For me, number 1, the bench. Lonnie Walker was great. Offensively and defensively. Again, because he's got fresh legs, and that was really key for the Lakers. And I think Ham's done a great job coaching wise this series and making adjustments. And game 4 was one of those reasons with Lonnie Walker. The way he played in that fourth quarter there was huge. My other one was for the Lakers, I guess, kind of with AD, but just continue to wear down the Warriors. The Warriors have looked a little bit tired. Like Curry, I think, and Thompson, they had to go 7 games the first time around, and they didn't get much of rest in between this series in the first round. So I think continue to just wear down the Warriors with their size. And the Lakers are making a ton of the little plays, late down the stretch. Again, they're 20 for 20, at the free throw line the other night. Again, they've done a great job. Just there's a lot of little areas late in the game where they've just been making the little plays that have been, capitalizing to win the basketball game. If they continue to do that, I think they could win this game, and they can win in 5 games.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. Yeah. The way they're playing right now, they've been the hottest team since the All-Star break, made some great trades, going out and getting D'Angelo Russell, getting Malik Beasley, getting Rui Hachimura. They've made some – Rob Pelinka's done a great job, and he's putting this team in great position to get to the conference finals and even get to the finals and win a championship. Yeah,
he absolutely has. He's done a great job, and we both kind of criticized him the last couple of years for some of the moves that they made and not getting the guys around LeBron and AD to kind of help him out. And, yeah, he really did that at the trade deadline. So, yeah, a lot of kudos on him. Ham's starting to really grow on me as the head coach. I think he's done a really good job so far with this group. So, yeah, the Lakers right now, they've been playing well, and they look like, they could win another championship.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. It looks like they got a good chance to win their second championship in 4 years. But now let's talk about the team that's won 4 championships in the last. It's won 4 titles in the last 9 years. Four titles in the last 9 years. Probably one of the best teams probably the team that has been the best in this decade, and that's been the Golden State Warriors. And they're facing elimination. They're 1 game from elimination. And the big question is what do they got to do to come back? What do they got to do to make a comeback in this series? And I think the obvious one is they need something out of other. They need consistency out of other guys not named Steph Curry. Klay Thompson only had 9 points in game 4. Andrew Wiggins, he's not been great. He's been decent, but he's not been great in any of the 4 games. And then Draymond Green, he just can't score at all. So they're not getting consistency from any of those guys. They need to get more scoring from those guys. And also, probably one of the more obvious points too, Jordan Poole has got to be better. I know he had 21 in game 1, but he has been horrible. He has been horrible in this series. He was only 6 points in game 2, only 5 points in game 3, and then he had a goose egg. He had a donut. He had a donut in game 4, and that is inexcusable. Inexcusable for Jordan Poole. He was absolutely terrible in game 4, and he has to be better as well. All those things need to happen for the Warriors to have any chance to come back and win this series.
Yeah, number 1 was Jordan Poole. He's been horrible. You summed it up perfectly. He's been a no-show most of his posts, or since game 1. He's not really shown up at all. And he's shooting 27% from the 3-point line, in the postseason. So yeah, they really need him to step up. And the problem is when he's not scoring, he's a horrible defender. And it's tough to put him on the floor because he's a liability on that end. So yeah, it's tough if he can't score. He's not helping you on that defensive end of the floor as well. For my other ones is for the bench too. Can they find somebody off the bench like the Lakers did with Lonnie Walker who's got fresh legs? I think they could. Jonathan Kuminga is somebody that he's not a really great 3-point threat, but I think he's got some talent. Couldn't they find somebody that could just step up for him and just put up 10 to 15 points to help out this team? I think that'd be huge, and it would take some of the burden off of Steph Curry. And then my final one is just better shot selection for the Warriors. I know Curry can hit those deep contested threes, but why is the rest of the team shooting those? It's just horrible shot selection. And the Lakers have shot 52 more free throws than the Warriors so far in the first 4 games. There's a reason why, because the Lakers go to the basket, they get easy shots, they draw fouls. The Warriors haven't done that at all this series. And I feel like when you're not hitting threes, and when Curry's not on, it's tough for this team to win because, they rely so much on the 3-point line and the 3-point ball. And the Lakers, they don't take a ton of threes, but, they get to the basket, they score. And I think that's a big thing, too. I think the Warriors, their shot selection's got to be a lot better.
Oh, yeah. I mean, yeah, I know it's a 3-point shooting league, and you got to do that to win games. But if you're not hitting them, going to the basket definitely helps your offense.
Yeah, it absolutely does. And it just doesn't seem like they've taken advantage of that. They did against Sacramento, but, at times they really haven't tried it. And I don't know if it's because Anthony Davis, defensively down low. But if you could somehow pull him outside of the paint, then you got to take advantage of it. But we'll kind of see if Steve Kerr makes any adjustments. They try to figure that out. But yeah, so far I think they got to take a lot better. Their shot selection's got to be a lot better.
Yeah, shot selection's got to be better, and guys got to step up. Curry can't do it alone. Curry can't beat this team all by himself. Guys got to step up. I mean, he had a triple-double the other night, and they lost. So guys definitely got to step up.
Yeah, absolutely. They do. Again, he can do it, but he can put up 50, but that may not be enough with some of the guys that are shooting right now. So yeah, and he looks tired too. Like he looks like he's starting to wear down a little bit. So yeah, he really needs some help right now, and we'll see if Klay Thompson or Jordan Poole may get out of this funk that he's in. So yeah, we'll see if the Warriors come out for Game 5 tonight.
Absolutely. So now we will move on to the Heat and the Knicks, and the Knicks face an elimination down 3-1. I'll give you credit. We talked about last week who had the edge in this series. I thought it was the Knicks because I thought they were the more healthy team, but it's definitely been the Heat. And Jimmy Butler's health was big, and he's definitely been healthy. I mean, he's definitely played well. Yeah, he's not been as great as he was against the Bucks, but that kind of was unrealistic. Now he's kind of back to what he's been all year. I mean, not a great 3-point shooter, but a really good scorer, a really good defender. I mean, he's had 25, 28, and 27. He's been consistent in all 3 games he's played in this series. And he's got this team up 3-1. And for the Knicks, the big question is what do the Knicks have to do to make a great comeback and win this series? Number one is they need Julius Randle to be more consistent. He was terrible in Game 3, fouled out of game. He was better in Game 4, fouled out of Game 4. They definitely need Julius Randle to be better. They need Brunson and Barrett to play like they have in Games 2 and 4. They've been very good all series, Brunson and Barrett. They were just bad in the game they need to be really good in Game 3. And the Game 3 could be giving you a signal that this big 3 of Barrett, I know they've had a good year, but this big 3 of Barrett, Randle, and Brunson is not winning you a championship because neither of those 3 guys were good in Game 3, and that's a problem. That's a pivotal game, and neither of the 3 guys were good. So they need Barrett and Brunson to play like they did in Games 2 and 4. And then also, and this has been huge in this series, they need more out of their bench. The biggest issue in this series has been for the Knicks is they have been outscored by the Heat bench in every game, and they were outscored 33-10 in Game 4, and that was huge because they lost the game by 8 points. Brunson, Randle, and Barrett all had over 20 points, and they lost that game because the bench of the Miami Heat had outscored them 33-10. Jimmy Butler has been very good, but he's not been anywhere near as good as he was against the Bucks. But the biggest reason why the Heat are up 3-1 is because of how well their bench has played.
Yeah, I'm with you. The bench, number one. Yeah, like I know Evan Fournier doesn't really fit Tom Thibodeau, but he's a good 3-point shooter. Like, why don't you give him a chance to see if he can knock down some threes at this point? Like, it can't hurt, I know he hasn't been, I know
he hasn't played in so long, though. Yeah. Fournier hasn't played in so long.
He hasn't, but why don't you just give him a shot tonight if you need some scoring? Like, it can't hurt at this point. I know he's not great defensively, but you need a spark. Maybe he can be that guy. You got to try something off the bench because, yeah, they haven't been great. And I know Quickly hasn't been great either, but I know he's been battling ankle injury. So, I don't think he's 100% healthy. So, I was thinking maybe off the bench, maybe somebody like a M. Fournier can knock down a couple of threes for you. But my other ones, too, is, Julius Randle. He needs to wake up. And when he's not scoring, and he's not getting the ball. I feel like too, he needs an attitude adjustment at times as well. I just, like that's been an issue with him the last couple of years. And yeah, he wants to be a star in this league. He's gotta be better in the postseason. He's got to be more consistent, and he hasn't at times this year. You know, they need that. And then I feel like too offensively, because they've been I feel like in the series too, they've taken a lot of tough contested shots. And they haven't been great scoring wise, and that's Miami's been really good defensively. Again, they got to get some offensive rebounds, just get some easy putback, just something. That's what Miami kind of did there in the fourth quarter the other night. They, could they get some offensive rebounds, get some easy buckets, maybe helps them out a bit tonight. So, yeah, for the Knicks tonight, maybe offensive rebound a little bit, crashing the offensive glass, could help ease the scoring pains that they've had trying to get back since Miami.
Yeah, and you talked about two things. I think I really liked what you talked about was the 3-point shooting. Yes, that's been a big issue in this series, especially in games 1 and 3. The Knicks did not shoot well from 3 at all in games 1 and 3. And that was a big reason why. That was the biggest reason why they lost game 1, and it was a big reason why they got blown out in game 3. They did not shoot the 3 well, and also Julius Randle. Yeah, his attitude needs to be better, and he needs to be more consistent in the playoffs. As you said, if you want to be great in this league, you got to be great at this time of the year. And Julius Randle, we all know the great year he had 2 years ago, and then in the playoffs, Trae Young completely outplayed him, and the Knicks lost in 5. He has got to be absolutely needs to be more consistent. And needs to be better, and he made a really good point about the 3-point shooting as well.
Yeah, the Knicks. Well, I don't think they've scored up more than 101 points so far in the series. That's not going to win you basketball games in 2023.
Nope,
it's just not
at all. Not at all.
And credit to the Heat too. The Heat defensively are a really good team. And the Knicks who win games that are that low scoring. That's where the Knicks want to kind of be. But you got to be able to score some points in this series, and they just haven't been able to do it. So yeah, it's been tough. And yeah, Randall's got to be better. Like, I feel like when he's not going, it's just he's an issue on the floor because he gets frustrated. And I get it. He's a star, but yeah, I feel like at times too, he's got to just move on to the next play. And I feel like that's something he struggles with. And, I know at this point you really can't make you can't just pull him your Thibodeau down 3-1, but I feel like next year, sometimes maybe just sit him down for a few minutes and just have him cool off might be the best option. But again, down 3-1, you don't really have that choice at this moment.
No, and he's still one of the better players. And he scored 25 in game 2, and he scored 20 in a game 4. The issue was he fouled out of game 4, and he had a pathetic performance in game 3. That's been the issue. But you can't sit him down. But he's the guy. Knick fans were on RJ Barrett before the postseason. Knick fans were all over RJ Barrett, but RJ Barrett has played outside of games 1 and 2 against the Cavs, and then game 3 against the Heat. He's been really, really good in this postseason. Randle, he's not been as good. That's why Knick fans are all over Julius Randle right now.
Yeah, and I understand why, because he's the guy, and he hasn't. I know he's put up some points, but yeah, I feel like the consistency wise to follow out, like you want more consistency out of him. I know he may still not be 100% healthy, but yeah, Barrett showed you that. Look, he might not be good enough to win you a championship, but he's good enough to be your number 2. And Jalen Brunson, the really good. Yeah, he might not.
I don't know
be able
if
to
Brunson
be the guy.
could be a 1, but
yeah, but he could be a 2.
He definitely could be a 2 as well.
Yeah. And now, you got those two. Now you kind of need that number 1. And Randall's kind of, everyone wants that to be the guy in New York. He's shown it at times, but at other times he's just, he hasn't been great. And, you don't really know at times what you're going to get out of him in the postseason. Yeah, you mentioned that series into Hawks. He was, Trae Young, yeah, he came in at MSG and just took that place over. And, Randall struggled. And, yeah, that thing was over quick, and kind of feels like that could happen again tonight with Jimmy Butler going in there and ending this thing, because knowing the Heat, they're going to want to. They did in Game 5 against the Bucks. That team doesn't go away, so I can't imagine. They're going to need they're going to need all hands on deck tonight, because that Heat team's not going to go away even if they get up big tonight.
Absolutely. And speaking of the Heat, the big question is, what do the Heat have to do to close the series out tonight? And again, for the Heat, they need Butler, and they need Bam to be great like they've been really good like they've been all series. Just have Bam and Butler be really good like they've been all series, and also continue to get contributions from their bench. Their bench has been the biggest difference in the series, how well the bench has played. If those two things happen, the Heat could be sent to the Knicks home tonight.
Yeah, absolutely. I like your point on Bam Adebayo. I thought he was, when he's playing aggressive on the offensive end of the floor, he took 11 shots in the first half, and when he hits them, it opens up guys to it forces the Knicks to collapse on them, and again that gets the Heat open shots, and we've seen that that obviously pros are going to hit open shots from beyond the arcs, and they've done that when Bam's playing aggressive, and yeah, I feel like also for the Heat, continue Jalen Brunson, continue to just deny him the basketball, continue to make him work hard on both ends of the floor, try to wear him down because he has been really good. He's been good at getting the basket, but and I know the Knicks have been trying to counter the denial. I know they ran like that. They were using Barrett and Randall on screens. They're trying to counter it, but keep making Miami run. For the Heat, keep making Jalen Brunson run around, try to get the ball, try to wear him down because so far consistently, he's been great for the Knicks, and we've seen he's capable of winning a game by himself. So, those are my two big things tonight for Miami to close things out in New York tonight.
Yeah, we'll see. We'll see what happens tonight. I mean, Miami's got a great chance. This would be two series that they would win in 5 games. So Miami has a really, really good chance to end things for the Knicks. And the thing about the Knicks, though, if they lose tonight, I think that confirms to you. If they lose in 5 to this Miami team, that confirms. I know it's been a really good year, but if they lose in 5, it just definitely shows you that this combination of Barrett, Randall, and Brunson is not good enough to win a championship with.
Yeah, it's unfortunate because after the Heat knock off the Bucks, you kind of feel like as a Knicks fan, you got a good shot to go to the conference finals and get a shot with Boston or Philly, and they just the Heat have been a little bit better. The Heat. I mean, the Knicks. It'd be disappointing for them. That those three have played well. In regular season, Barrett and Brunson have been good in the postseason. Randall at times. So it'd be disappointing for how good the Knicks looked in the first round against the Cavs, but maybe, we were overhyping the Cavs up a little bit. So, not to take away from the Knicks, but it'd be a little bit disappointing. Yeah. You wonder if they make Leon Rose make some changes to the roster the offseason.
Yeah. We'll see what happens if they lose tonight. But number 99 came back for the Yankees last night. But before we talk about that, we're going to hear from our friends at JPEG Financial and Shamrock Home Inspections.
Do you have a 401k and some savings for future retirement, but don't even know if it's enough to live off of? How much is enough? How often are you thinking about it? The team at JPEX Financial Group can help set your mind at ease. We specialize in creating strategies in the planning and managing of your financial, educational, and investment needs. We help clients pursue their investment goals with sound financial strategies. You deserve a personal, tailored plan. Lasting, meaningful, and open relationships are the foundation of our practice. You've worked hard for your money and should feel confident in your investment choices as you make decisions for your financial future. Your goals are our goals. We are dedicated to your needs and hopes for your future. Visit our website and give us a call at 860-430-5397. Securities offered through Raymond James Financial Services, Inc., member FINRA, SIPC. Investment advisory services offered through Raymond James Financial Services Advisors, Inc. JPEX Financial Group, LLC is not a registered broker-dealer and is independent of Raymond James Financial Services. JPEX Financial Group is located at 78 Eastern Boulevard, Glastonbury, Connecticut. There's no bigger investment than home ownership. And to make sure the house is up to your standards, you need a professional to look it over. Brian Flanagan from Shamrock Home Inspections is a licensed home inspector and a member of the Connecticut Association of Home Inspectors. Brian was a contractor for over 15 years, so he knows how homes should be constructed and how mechanicals should work.
What makes me a good home inspector was the 20 years that I was a home improvement person, doing all the different repairs that I have done and what other people have done wrong that I had to go out and fix. So I have a pretty quick eye on seeing what's right and what's wrong. Before you move, call Shamrock Home Inspections.
Before you make the biggest investment of your life, call Brian Flanagan from Shamrock Home Inspections at 860-268-2566 or visit shamrockhomeinspectionct.com.
Alrighty, Aaron Judge came back for the Yankees last night in their 10-5 win over the Oakland A's. And I know he didn't have a hit last night, but he definitely is adding more protection to this lineup, and you've been seeing it. You see it. You even see it today. You saw Harrison Bader at that 3-run homer. You saw Rizzo get a base hit. He's really added. Still, he's definitely. I know they're playing the A's, but he's definitely added protection to that lineup. He went over 3, but he did have 2 RBIs last night. So it's really, really nice to see him back. And I think this is really going to help a Yankee lineup that before this series against Oakland had really, really been struggling.
Yeah, they have. Sunday they scored 7, but they blew that one on Sunday afternoon.
We'll get to that. We'll get to that.
All right, yeah, that disappointing one. But yeah, the offense, it helps when you face AAA pitching. It does help that your offense gets going a bit here. But hopefully that brings some confidence to the group. But yeah, Judge being back, today he worked a walk in the first at bat. As you mentioned, yeah, Bader kind of heads a big home run. So yeah, there's more protection in that lineup. With Rizzo there batting third, who's got the best average on the team. He's now under after with his hit today, he's at 299. So we almost got some of this team that's very close to be at 300. So I know Bader's at 440, but I know that doesn't really count right now. But so yeah, it helps the lineup out, and it's been huge to have Aaron Judge back in the captain back in that line. It's been huge.
Yeah, absolutely. And now, speaking of Harrison Bader, how good has Harrison Bader been for this team? Friday night down 4-1, he hits the 3-run homer. Saturday, he gets the big 2-run single. And then today hits another home run, sitting over 400. Bader has been huge. It's huge having him back in that lineup. And then you have your choice of sitting at Cabrera and sitting at Hicks and sitting in IKF when you've got a guy like him in the lineup.
Yeah, it helps because IKF Hicks had the home run the other night though.
Oh, stop it against the A's. Come on, stop it.
It's something. It's more than we get out of them. So that was nice. But Hicks has been bad. Bader's been great. Again, he's a career 248 hitter. So I don't think this isn't going to keep up. But yeah, it's been nice. And since the trade, he's been a great offensive weapon.
Oh, he was good. He was good last year in the playoffs.
Yeah, he was. When he got back from the injury, he played well in that series against Houston. So, yeah, he's hit the ball well, and he's a Gold Glover outfield. So, whatever we get from him, batting wise, is awesome. So, yeah, the way he's been coming back and hitting the baseball, it's been unbelievable. So, yeah, another big home run today. He's hit a couple since he's returned. So, it's been huge to see, and it's a contract year for him too. So, I know he wants to go out there the rest of the way here and earn as much money as he can.
Oh, absolutely. He's just been outstanding, and it's just really, really helped this team. It's just helped this. It's really helped this lineup, especially over the last week. I mean, the way this guy has stepped up, it's just been so great that he's been able to step up and really, really help this lineup, and it's been nice to see. But let's now get to the negative. And the Yankees, they've been playing well ever since Boone cost them that game against the Guardians. Last Monday, they had been playing well. They're 20-17, but let's be honest. They should be 21-16. They should have won 5. They should have won 6 out of 7 because Sunday's loss was an absolute disgrace, and Sunday's loss was absolutely on this manager. And if this team doesn't make some sort of a run, this manager needs to be fired. I mean, it's 6-2 in the 6th inning. Paredes hits that RBI double. Cole has got to be out of that game right there. I don't get that. That loss is completely on Aaron Boone. Cole has got to be out of the game. You have one of the best ERA. Your bullpen. I know the 9th inning has been an issue for the bullpen, but in terms of bullpen ERA, it's the best in baseball. You need to pull Garrett Cole there. You left him in way too long, and then he gives up the home run to Betancourt, and the game's tied. That is terrible managing. And I'm telling you, if Aaron Boone in a week span, he cost the Yankees 2 games. That is why I'm telling you, if this team doesn't even make the postseason, there is no reason at all for this team to keep Aaron Boone as the manager. Boone has to, for me, at least get back to the ALCS for him to be back as Yankees manager.
No, I agree, because I know I've given Boone a pass the last couple years, but he's got zero feel for a baseball game, and I think we've talked about it. He just doesn't have it, and it's something that I don't think he's, it's something that seems like he hasn't been able to learn the last couple years. So I'm with you. Again, they haven't gotten back to Game 7 of the ALCS since they fired Girardi. They've kind of gone backwards ever since. So yeah, you would feel like at some point you would make a change, but you get another puppet, but maybe you get a puppet that's got a better feel for a baseball game. So that could help, but I don't know who that who that is at the moment. But yeah, Sunday cost them. Yeah, the bullpen's been great. I get you're trying to cut a couple more outs out of them to try to give that bullpen more of a rest. But yeah, the bullpen, I mean,
It's
Garrett
not
Cole,
like your bullpen outside of the ninth inning has not been bad. It's been really good outside of the ninth inning. So give them a chance.
yeah, I agree. I didn't get that. And we've seen Cole kind of struggle against the Rays since he's been a Yankee. So they kind of get out what you got out of him was huge. So yeah, up 5 runs. I know he's probably trying to get 3 more outs up 5, but yeah, with that Rays offense, the way they've been hitting the baseball, that's a spot where you got to kind of pull them and go to your bullpen. But yeah, just again, not having the feel for baseball game. But watching that series, the Rays are a good team, but they are not unbeatable. That's not an unbeatable.
No,
they should.
They should have won that series. They should have won that series. Yeah, the Rays, they definitely lack depth in the rotation, and they should have won that series. And that's the difference of being behind 9 games than being behind 7 games. I know it's early May, but they're now down 9 games, but they could have been down 7 games if the manager knew what he was doing.
Yeah, absolutely, we would. But we would. And again, it's crazy sitting at 2017, you're in last place, and that's just the division right now. So yeah, like those 2 games last week are crucial in a division like this where every team is playing well. Like the Orioles been fire. They're playing great baseball too right now. So, the Boston's been good. So yeah, like 2 games like that, it's a huge difference, in a 162 and in a division like this. So yeah, it's costly. They should have won that series. And again, hopefully they could get a couple this week against Tampa Bay when they come to town. But yeah, they should have won 2 out of 3. And that's a place in the Trop where they've showed the last few years since, last 4 or 5 years, they've really showed out the Trop, and it would have been nice to win that series.
Absolutely. Now, speaking of the Rays, they'll be coming to the Bronx this weekend to face the Yankees. And on Thursday night, we got Herman against Rasmussen. Friday, Cole against Fleming. Saturday, Cortez against McClanahan. And Sunday, Schmidt against Eflin. I think they definitely win the Cole game. I think they definitely win the Garrett Cole start. They lose the Herman start against Rasmussen, and then you can go either way with the game on Saturday and Sunday. But I do think I'm not picking this team to win 3 out of 4. I don't trust this team. But I do think with the way they played the Rays last week, and again, if they had a manager that knew what he was doing, they would have won that series. So I do think this team at home this week is going to split that series against the Rays.
Yeah, I'm with you. I get it. I think they split. And again, the 7 games, you go 3 or 4 against the Rays. I know it's not great, but the way things have been, I think you take that. Even though, yeah, you should be 4 or 3 against them, but I'm with you. I think they get a split. I think Cortez in his 26 starts at Yankee Stadium, he's allowed 3 runs or less in all of his. So that will be tough going up against McClanahan, who's been awesome and again could win the Cy Young. Cole, yeah, I think he bounces back and pitches well. And Fleming's a guy they knocked around last weekend. So yeah, for me, I think they get to split this weekend. I'll take it. You kind of stay right pace with them. You kind of just take that at this point with the way that lineup's been hitting the baseball. So, yeah, split this weekend is, that'd be okay.
Yeah, I mean, they need to. They can't fall. They got to break this week. They're playing the A's, so they should sweep them. But they can't just keep falling behind. This American League is tough. I mean, I know the Central's going to get 1 team, but if you look at the AL West, the Angels are improved. The Rangers are improved. The Astros are the Astros. And then you look at the AL East, the Blue Jays are good. The Orioles are good. And the team we're going to get to, they're better than we think. So the Yankees got to start winning series. They got to start winning games, or they very easily could miss the playoffs. And let me tell you, if this team misses the playoffs, Aaron Boone better not be the manager of this baseball team.
No, and I couldn't imagine him walking in there in 2024 being the manager of this team misses the playoffs. Yeah, because with this division, it's been great. I'm not surprised with the O's with the way the owner kind of said in the offseason, that O's team is really trying to prove it to that front office that they're good enough to go be spent, get money spent on. We'll get the Red Sox. Toronto, we know with that young core and that pitching staff they have, they're good. Yeah, that Central stinks. And yeah, the Astros, when they get Altuve back, the Mariners are starting to play. They played better since their ugly start. The Angels are kind of hanging around. The Rangers have looked pretty good. So yeah, like this the American League is tough, and it's not, a lot of those teams aren't going anywhere anytime soon. So yeah, you got to kind of crawl out of it. You got to take advantage of teams like Oakland. You got Tampa this weekend, then you go to Toronto for 4 next week. So, couple big series, and then you got, Baltimore coming in, San Diego. Like after this, you got the Reds, and then the rest of the month you got Toronto, Baltimore, San Diego, Seattle. Like, it's not an easy month of May coming up. So yeah, to win a couple of these would be nice and really give, I think, the fans kind of hope after the really rough start that they had, I know, with the injury. So yeah, for them to kind of, they really want to kind of show the fan base that this is a playoff team and we can make a run. You better play well this month of March or month of May.
Absolutely. You definitely have to. You definitely have to. Now, moving on to a team that has played better than we thought, and that's the Boston Red Sox. Right now, they're 21-16. They went on that. They had a huge sweep last week of the Blue Jays. That's a huge sweep in Toronto. Huge sweep of the Blue Jays. Went to Philadelphia. Won 2 out of 3. So this team was playing really, really well. But they have lost 2 in a row. And again, what is the reason why they've lost 2 in a row? It's the starting pitching. For as good as the lineup's been, as good as Yoshida's been, for as good as Devers has been, and for as good as Verdugo's been, and they're hopefully, and for them, we'll see if they get Duvall back, because he was really good at the start of the year too. So this team has definitely hit. Cora's done a really good job, and their bullpen, I'll give Chaim credit for getting Kenley Jansen. That was a really, really good move. But what's gonna hold this team back, and why this team, I still think, might not be in it at the end of July when it comes to trade deadline time, is their starting pitching is absolutely horrendous.
Yeah. They'll get Paxton back on Friday, but he struggled down at AAA.
He's terrible. Paxton's been terrible for them.
Yeah. Well, yeah. He, first time we've seen him in 2 years. You never know what you're gonna get from him. So yeah, it'll be tough. But yeah, the starting pitching, they got Brian Balo tonight going. I know they got high hopes for him, but so far he's been a little bit shaky. Sale's starting to kind of turn the corner, which has been huge for him. But yeah, Pivetta got rocked last night. Like, yeah, you mentioned the starting pitching. That's definitely the part of the team that's going to hold them back if this team doesn't make a run, and if this team doesn't make the playoffs, it's because of the rotation. Houck was okay. The other day he got the loss against Philly, but he pitched. They need a couple guys, and it'll be interesting what moves they make. Because of course, if they're not going to go to a 6-man rotation when Paxton comes back. So we'll see if it's Houck going in the bullpen or Balo going in the bullpen, or if he goes down. So we'll see what moves they make. Starting on Friday. But yeah, the starting pitching is that's going to hurt them.
Yeah, and I think if you had the choice between Houck and Bello, I think you send Bello to the bullpen, not Houck. I think Houck still has some potential, but yeah, I mean, this team has got to pitch better. This team doesn't pitch better. It's not going to stay in this race. And you see some of the teams they're playing after the Cardinals series. They got the Mariners, they got at the Padres, they got at the Angels. They got to start pitching better. I know they're 21-16. I know they're up to a surprising start, and I know their manager shouldn't go anywhere. Alex Cora should be the manager of the Red Sox for a long time. I think he's one of the best in the game. But if this team doesn't make the playoffs, I still want Chaim Bloom. If you're a Red Sox fan, you still want Chaim Bloom fired because of how pathetic this pitching is.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think that would probably happen. That fan base doesn't like them. So far they've been. The fan base has been pretty happy, but again, the way the Bruins kind of fell off, and the way
they need something positive. Yeah. Looking at the Bruins, look at the Celtics, and look at what the Patriots are probably going to be this year. They need something positive in that city.
Yeah, they do. So with the way the Red Sox have been playing, it's helped out big time for them so far. But yeah, I'm with you. If this team doesn't make the playoffs, I can't imagine that Bloom comes back for another year. Just with the reception that he's gotten the last couple of years, like, it's a fan base that does not like him very much and has been very critical of him, and very understandably so. I gotta give him credit for the Yoshida signing. That one looks pretty good.
And Jansen. Those are the two signings you got to give him credit for.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Those have been good, but yeah, some of the other ones, it's just, again, the money ball, trying to find a dime in the rough. It just doesn't happen every time, and it doesn't work in a market like Boston. It just doesn't, and we've kind of seen it. And yeah, 2 years ago they had a great year, overachieved, but yeah, since then they've taken a couple steps back.
Yeah, and the thing is, if you're not going to sign Betts, you're not going to sign Bogarts, you got to get some pitching, because the pitching has been bad for the Red Sox since 2018. So if you're going to not sign those two guys, you're going to have to improve the starting rotation, and they've never improved the rotation. And that's why, if this team it doesn't make the playoffs and the rotation is bad, he's got to go.
Yeah, absolutely. Again, Eovaldi, they never really approached Eovaldi about really coming back, re-signing him. Again, he's pitched pretty well again this year for Texas. Like, yeah, it's stuff like that where, he just hasn't re-signed some of the guys. And Evaldi would be a nice piece of rotation still. They let him walk. And so, yeah, some of the guys that he's kind of let go and hasn't re-signed. And, yeah, the pitching staff just hasn't been great. Like, he signed Corey Kluber, and Kluber has not been good at all. His ERA is still over 6. So, yeah, some of the moves that he's made for the pitching staff hasn't worked. I know they got, I think it's Brian Mata that's down in the system still that they're high on, but I think he's had Tommy John surgery already twice in his young career. So it's always a hit or miss thing. So, I don't know. He might get his shot at some point this year, but yeah, I don't think there's a ton after him that they have either in the system right now that I'm aware of that's like ready to come up, or somebody that they're looking to make an impact, pretty soon. So yeah, it's surprising they haven't really gone out and gotten more pitching.
Absolutely. And they play the Cardinals this weekend. Cardinals head into Fenway. Rematch of 2 World Series, 04 World Series and 2013 World Series. And I think this is a series, with the way the Cardinals are playing, they got to take 2 out of 3. I know Paxton's back on the mound on Friday night. Sales pitching Saturday. You got Kluber Sunday in the Sunday night game. But I think this is a team they got to take 2 out of 3. They got to. I think they take 2 out of 3 from the Cardinals.
Yeah, I'm with you too. I think they take 2 out of 3. Yeah, that Cardinals team's been all that. Boone's better than that Cardinals manager. That guy that. Here a couple weeks ago, he called out the St. Louis fan base. Like, at least Boone's not that though.
He will be. That guy will be fired by the end of the season. There's no question about that.
Yeah, I can't imagine he'll be back because
Oliver Marmol will be fired by the end of the season.
Yeah, I agree with you on that one. He had a rough postseason too last year. So yeah, he's not been good. He's not been good in that clubhouse. That team's been a big disappointment. So yeah, I'm with you. They take 2 out of 3 at least this weekend.
Absolutely. So we'll definitely be talking about the Yankees and Red Sox next week. But we got to wrap up the show talking about. We haven't talked any XFL. We'll talk about the XFL final. We got the Arlington Renegades against the DC Defenders, and I think the DC Defenders. I haven't watched much XFL at all this year, but one thing I do know is the DC Defenders are the best team. And I think they proved that on Saturday night and win the XFL title.
Yeah, I'm with you. DC's been the best team all year. I haven't watched a ton either, but when I've seen it, DC's been the best team. And I know Arlington's had a nice kind of surprise postseason run here. Bob Stoops, the head coach, but yeah, I don't think they got I don't think the defense to keep them in it with all DC's got offensively.
No, DC has proven. I think they were even good back when the XFL was going on in 2020. I think they were good then too. I think back when they had PJ Walker. So DC's been one of the best teams in the XFL the 2 years that it's been in existence.
Yeah, they have. So yeah, it's been a nice little run for them, and yeah, better they they got to deal with the Washington Commanders. So yeah, so nice little they get a good football team for a change here with the Renegades.
I mean, you mean the Defenders?
Yeah, the Defenders. Yeah, my bad. Yeah.
Exactly. So that's going to wrap it up this week on Sports Talk with R&J. For Justin D'Onofrio, I'm Steve Risser. We will be back next week talking about the conference finals in the NBA, the Yankees and Red Sox, and any NFL news that comes our way. Have a great weekend, everyone.
Jones on first down, wide open, it's Barkley. And Saquon Barkley will take it into the end zone.
Your best ability is availability. Saquon Barkley, he's great when he's on the field, but the problem is since 2018, he hasn't been healthy for this team.
Look at this. They lob it to him. He taps it in off the glass. How about that?
Porter Moser, I think right now is the best coach of college basketball, hands down.
Vince 2 for 3. He's done his part. Pitch is drilled to deep right field toward the pole, and it is gone.
They don't mind not being what they were in the 90s as the best organization in baseball, because the Yankees are not. They're even close to the best organization in baseball.
They're trying to be the Rays, and the Rays do this for a reason. Like, you're the Yankees.
Hello, my name is Joe Aguirre. I'm the president of Clovercrest Media Group. And here at CMG, we have a wide variety of podcasts, including sports shows like Keys to the City, The Roll Call, Throwing Jabs, All Four Downs, and Jawing About the G-Men. And great true crime shows like Sticky Meat, Crimes and Consequences, Ivy League Murders, and Bird, the unsolved murder of David Eichmann. You can find all these podcasts and so much more by visiting clovercrestmedia.com.